Well, good morning, Jagendra Rana here. So, what are UGC's equity rules and why have they caused uproar? This is the topic of our discussion today. What are UGC's equity rules and why have they caused uproar? University Grant Commission's promotion of equity in higher education institutions Regulation 2026 are rooted in judicial intervention, long-standing concerns over campus discrimination, and recognized gaps in the 2012 rules framework. So the trigger was the 2019 Supreme Court petition by the mothers of Rohit Vemula and Payal Talbi, who died by suicide in 2016 and 2019 respectively, following alleged caste-based discrimination. So petition argued that the UGC 2012 equity rules existed largely on paper. This made Supreme Court direct UGC in January 2025 to create a stronger time-bound and enforceable regulatory system for campuses. The UGC's new rules replace a largely advisory 2012 framework with an enforceable compliance regime that puts the onus of preventing discrimination on leadership of institutions backed by timelines and defined penalties. Also, the new regulations brings the society socially and educationally backward classes, official term for OBCs, under their purview. General category students, that is, those from upper castes, are protesting that norms are biased against them. UGC defense is that UGC authorities have defended the guidelines on the ground that it covers discrimination of all kinds, including those which upper castes suddenly may face. So the claim has not been found to be satisfactory because, unlike the case of reserved categories, upper caste have not been mentioned, specifically making for vagueness, though the category economically weaker sections is taken to cover a substantial chunk of them. The upper castes are also unhappy that no deterrent has been provided for against false complaints. Importantly, the 2025 guidelines did provide for a guardrail against false complaints. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's no harassment, no misuse promise is being interpreted to suggest that the government may be empathetic to grievance. So clarity on the count will have to wait until Supreme Court hears the petition filed against the rules. A change in nature of grievance redressal framework from advisory 2012 to enforceable 2026. The 2012 regulations had relied on anti-discrimination officers and focused on CST students. They prescribed punishment for offenders but ensured the no system level accountability for institutions. So the 2026 framework introduces a three-tier architecture in every HEI, Equal Opportunity Center, Equity Committee for Inquiry and Recommendations, and External Ombudsperson for Appeals. So these are supplemented by equity squads, equity ambassadors, and a 24/7 equity helpline. Most significantly, UGC now has enforcement powers under Clause 11. Institutions that fail to comply can be barred from UGC's schemes, stripped of permissions to run degree or online programs, or removed from recognized list altogether. So, imprecise definitions of discrimination which can be weaponized for harassment is Discrimination includes implicit, indirect, and structural unfairness and conduct that impairs equality or dignity even without overt intent. But concepts such as implicit discrimination or impairment of dignity have not been qualified, raising the possibility of inconsistent subjective interpretation and contested case. So the broad nature of provisions and also substantial interactions with committees. The apprehension cited by the opponents is aggravated by what they call composition of the panels, which will tilt in favor of the reserved categories. So what remains unresolved? The regulations do not spell out safeguards for respondents such as confidentiality, counseling support, or reputational repair if allegations are not upheld. So with compressed timelines and wide discretion granted to panels, institutions will be required to balance speed up procedural fairness on their own. The bottom line is that regulations recast equity from a complaint-driven model to an institution-driven compliance framework. Whether they build trust or fuel friction will depend on how HEIs exercise discretion, handle contested complaints, and balance urgency with fairness. Thank you. Thank you very much.